Liam, welcome. It's great to catch up with you. Can we look at this year in a bookend sense? So you start with the Bathurst 12-hour, now you're here with a good chance of winning the title. Give us some reflections on 2024 so far.
It feels like a blur, like it's the stuff of dreams, and every year I feel like it's been a great year, but then this year feels like even better again. Going to a pro car for a bronze driver is quite intimidating, but again, like, I want to be challenged, and you know, my co-drivers Kelvin van der Linde and Christopher Haas were amazing. Like, they were so good to race with. They gave me some good advice, and I mean, together we got P3 outright, which was unbelievable.
Can I zero in on that word there, challenge, right? That's something you've said a number of times over 2024. What sort of challenge has that been with Arise Racing?
I think there's no bigger challenge than a brand new car and a brand new team. It makes it even more satisfying when you come into this environment and you can impart knowledge, and the team members impart knowledge, and together as a team you create this working relationship of driving the team forward.
Your history shows a good partnership with Chaz Mostert, success in a Pro-Am sense. What's the secret to that working so well, and has it evolved a bit in 2024?
Yeah, to piece a whole season together with Chaz, and especially Adam de Bore as well, as a combination, is just, it's working. I think there's no pressure, there's a job at hand, and when the job's at hand, we do the job as best we can.
Are there international aspirations? You've been to Le Mans, done some support racing there, among other things on your CV. What about 2025? Is there a little something you'd like to do next year?
I mean, Europe gets my attention. I love racing in Europe. I've had a lot of good experiences there, and for me, it's a challenge. It drives you harder, and there's more cars on track, so there's more challenges. Le Mans 24-hour and World Endurance Championship is my aspiration, but it's very cost prohibitive. So yeah, a few European races planned for next year, so let's see what happens.
Fantastic. Have a great weekend here. We wish you all the best with the mission to get back-to-back titles, and congrats on a super year. Well done.
Thanks, mate.
So here we are at Mount Panorama. A beautiful day at Bathurst, Mount Panorama. We have just seen the title decided for Super Cheap Auto TCR Australia. The first time we have had back-to-back victory. And it went the way of Josh Buck, and a remarkable result for him and everyone at Hyundai Customer Motorsport. But that's not the only title to be decided today, because coming up next we've got the GT World Challenge Australia. There he is. To the victor goes the spoils, the championship wreath on top of the car. What a brilliant effort it's been. But as I said, we have a title to be decided too, and some big names involved in that. So let's get to our commentators for Fanatec GT World Challenge Australia. Race number 2 at Mount Panorama. Let's get to Richard Craill, Greg Rust and Cam Vanden Dungan.
Stubbsy, thank you. And a title to be decided too. The final race of an epic season in Fanatec GT World Challenge. And Josh Buchan winning back-to-back titles is appropriate, because Liam Talbert could do the same today. Back-to-back titles in GT racing. But he could be the first driver in the history of Australian GT racing to win the National Championship back-to-back in different brands. Audi last year, Ferrari potentially this year, Rusty, if he can seal the deal in the next hour.
I can vividly remember back in February at the Motorsport Australia Awards when he collected the trophy for the 2023 title. It means a lot to him. He's a guy that properly loves cars. When you get to understand some of the things that have been in the garage over time, the history, and how much he loves it. So to stitch it together for a second straight year, that's something he would savour for sure.
I remember when he started coming into the sport, and he was just such a passionate, energy, enthusiastic guy, and now here he stands on another, well, the step potentially to another title. I noticed Charlie, his lovely partner, and kids are here out the back, so it was great to see that it's a family affair in town for Liam Talbot.
And a special place too, Cam, for them. This is where they got engaged. It was on the dummy grid of a Carrera Cup race many, many years ago. One of the more interesting bits of live TV I've ever been fortunate enough to be involved in. So there's lots of synergies here, but it's not necessarily a fait accompli that he's going to win the championship. Brad Schumacher and Will Brown can still win the title, but it's all stacked against them to do it. They must win the race. The Ferrari must score no points to do that. And the other thing around that is no combination have won both races in the same weekend of a Fanatec GT round this year. So all the odds, Cam, are stacked against them, but man, they're going to go down swinging one way or another.
Well, let's have a look at what is a GT. This is part of GT3, a global standard. They've got balance of performance, which means they try to level them out. 500 to 600 brake horsepower, rear-wheel drive. And here, Rusty, are some of the key talking points today.
And they got down to 2-minute laps. Holy smoke, they have been fast this weekend here at the mountain. So, as Rich said, can Liam Talbot go back-to-back? Audi have a great success record, as you can see there here at Mount Panorama. Chaz, so much that he's already got on the CV, wanting to add to that as well. And we've talked about it being maybe a distant chance for Will Brown, but he, along with a Bathurstian, brings a lot of strength to that mission this afternoon, doesn't he, in Brad Schumacher?
And they were awesome yesterday. Played race one to perfection to grab their third race win of the year, the first combination to win 3 races this season in a championship that's had 6 different winners from the first 8 races coming into this weekend. Here's the starting grid. So Brendan Leach and Tim Miles go from pole position thanks to an amazing lap from the flying Kiwi yesterday. But it was more to the point that the guy who qualified fastest was excluded from qualifying. So you should be seeing Chaz Mostert's name alongside grid number 1. He's starting last in this race. An overboost penalty for that car, which actually wasn't on their quickest lap. It was on a different lap, but the car breached the maximum turbo boost pressure in the Ferrari on 2 occasions in that lap. And as a result, they were excluded from qualifying. So car number 1 will start this race from last position. So there will be some moves made early.
Well, and there's also some nervous elements of weights for Liam Talbot. I know Chaz Mostert probably won't be feeling those level of nerves, but anytime you've got to come back through traffic, anytime you've got to come back through slower or lower class cars, there is always risk of damage and drama.
You talked about Walden and Sheargold putting that title beyond doubt in that interview there before camp for the AM class. So that's already been decided. So there's other yarns here to think about too. Brendan Leach, the Kiwi, who comes from Invercargill on the South Island, he'd never been to Bathurst until a couple of days ago, comes out and was mighty straight out of the blocks. So for him to try and walk away with the win before he heads back overseas for more international racing, that'd be a huge thing for him.
One other talking point for me is, I know Renee Gracie's times yesterday were around the 2-minute 10, so she was a long way off the pace. But anything can happen when she hands over to Paul Stokel. If it's anywhere near contention, Paul Stokel will rag that car as hard as he can and could be a contender if circumstances allow.
Well, that's the joy of this style of racing too. It'll ebb and flow. It depends on what combination is in the car. There's also another little storyline, Rusty, around the cars that start on the front row of the grid for this one, because Brendan Leach and Tim Miles are 4th in the championship, 3 points behind Jackson Evans and Elliot Shute, who start this one on the outside of the front row. So they're fighting for 3rd place in this year's title.
Tim had a gathering last night and he was in charge of the remote control. Surprise, surprise, he asked to replay the Phillip Island round of the championship.
Yeah, it's true to form,
isn't it? Love it.
So here we go. 3rd place car is Alex Peroni, who's been superb this year, and he and Mark Rosser had a brilliant run to 4th place yesterday, their 2nd best result of the season in the Audi. And then the championship contender is Will Brown in car 87 on the outside of the front row. It's been an incredible year of GT racing in Australia. It started at Mount Panorama in the Bathurst 12 Hour. It finishes at the same place with the finale of Fanatec GT World Challenge Australia. And the Audis lead the way into turn 1. The fast Kiwis dueling on. And Brendan Leach enters out Jackson Evans. And watch for Alex Peroni, who's going to draw alongside the Arise Racing Ferrari.
It was aggressive there from Brendan Leach. He squeezed Jackson Evans on the exit, well, mainly at the midpoint of turn number 1. And that's allowed Peroni to have a run up Mountain Straight. But look who's coming with him. He's going to get hung to the outside. And if the TCR race is anything to run by, there's too many marbles out there, and Peroni has to give up that spot.
Jada almost bump drafting the Arise Racing Ferrari up a position there. So the juice helped Jackson out really well, and it shuffled Peroni back.
How about the car of Fontana? First time here at the mountain. Great to have this team here with an eye on a Bathurst 12-hour entry. They're currently running in 5th in that car. Great job in the Porsche. Nice start. There it is. Black and gold entry coming through.
Brentford Grove going nicely as well in the Grove Group Mercedes AMG GT3. So it's Audi, Ferrari, Mercedes, Audi, Ferrari, Mercedes, Audi, Mercedes, Mercedes in the top 10. The Porsche in the mix as well, with Fontana in 5th place. So lots of different brands at the pointy end of the field. Gee, there's a couple checking up there. That was Grove. Looked like he had a little error through the dipper cam, and that opened the door to Will Brown, who's jumped a bunch of spots in the early part of the race. So for the championship contender, they've dropped some spots. Chaz Mostert's made them, though. He's charging through the field in car number 1.
Yeah, it was a nervous moment, though, as he went into Forest Selbo. Chaz Mostert trying to make his way and pick off as many positions as possible. And he's right behind Rene Gracie now. So as they make their way down to the chase, that's the battle over 12th position on track. But realistically, he just doesn't want to have any trouble whatsoever, does Chaz Mostert.
Trying to work his way past Valentino Astuni, the trophy class leading Aston Martin Vantage V12 engine. He'll get him down the inside here at Murray, so that's one more position. So from the back of the field, Chaz will go to 13th at the end of lap 1. Replay, turn 2, opening lap of the race. Ash Samadi and Mark Sini, Audi Sport Customer Racing Australia teammates, with contact there at turn 2.
Was Ash out of shape by the time they got there? That sort of, the way we cut to that then, it suggested he may have been. Wow.
Yeah, I think to Kralsey's point, it would have been contact. It's the only way I could see the car's nose could be pointing in at that inner wall at that part of the circuit. We missed the start of it, but we head back to the battles throughout the field. Leach, Evans, Ojeda, Peroni. Jeez, it was aggressive off the start by Brendan Leach, wasn't it? He wasn't going to give Jackson Evans any opportunity to get a run off Hell Corner up Mountain Straight.
How good is the performance here from Alex Fontana? He's sitting in 5th place for Car Collection Motorsport, the German squad. They've just come through shot there. He's been lighting up the timing monitor. Now, I mean, he's got on his CV something like 200 races to his credit, but to come here to Mount Panorama in this 911 GT3R, and they've got, as we said, you know, eyes on an entry at some point in the Maguire's Bathurst 12-hour. Great effort this, putting your best foot forward. 5th place right now in the final one of the season for Fanatec GT World Challenge Australia.
32 years of age, from Switzerland. He's got some Greek heritage in there as well, I think, but he's been a really well-established GT ace. I love these internationals that come to this place and are just so immediately switched on. And the thing is, they know the car. They don't have to learn the car, because it's exactly the same race car you can drive everywhere around the world. So you've just got to work out the racetrack. As we go back and watch Brenton Grove having a move, in fact defending his position from Will Brown, who's going to get the over-under. Now, I think these two raced each other in Formula 4 racing. As we go yellow, safety car is on the racetrack, and that's why it's Ash Samadi, who's had a big accident at the top of Mount Panorama on the run into McPhillamy Park, and it's torn the left rear corner out of the number 22 Audi R8. And Ash, who was...
all cars to go drivers left from turn 7.
And that's good, clear advice from race director James Taylor. Ash was 3rd in the AM Class Championship, but was under pressure from Ben Schutz and Shane Woodman.
Keep in mind, 225k an hour, 5th gear roughly at this point, and that's let go.
So he's lost the rear and gone around, but the real challenge there is being sideways across the track where you're at a blind corner on exit. So great call by Motorsport Australia Race Control, James Taylor. Straight away onto it, they called a safety car. No room for any error or margin for error here at Mount Panorama.
So we're under the control of the safety car at Mount Panorama in the title showdown for Fanatec GT. Brendan Leach leads Jackson Evans and Jaden Ojeda.
I'd want to look at that replay again, but to me, I don't know that Ash's car was on the ideal line when that started to go pear-shaped, and that's, you know, knowing the road and what it is like at that point, the kind of speed that you might be doing at that stage. Let's have a little look at this, Cam.
He was skinny, like you could go a bit wider. He's actually on the line there. The rear's just let go on him. So you're right. You get into a groove up over the top there. The car almost takes a set of rails through that section of track, and that was just a rear end going out on him. I mean, he could have been a little bit more aggressive going wider on entry to the corner, but it wasn't anything really that untoward.
these cars are so loaded at the top of the mountain, Rusty. You mentioned 230 odd Ks an hour, and in hot conditions, the track does get quite greasy. And we've seen it in the 12-hour here year on year, that the ragged edge up there between hanging onto it and ending off the road is just a tiny little percentage.
The only thing I could think of, Rusty, maybe just got out of the gas slightly, unsettled the car, he wasn't comfortable with where it was at, but unfortunately, it doesn't really matter what it was, he's into the wall and out of this race.
Good job by Jaden Ojeda in the early phase of this race to position 3. Early days, but has the quickest lap so far with a 2:05.35. Now, thanks to the recovery team there going to work. We hope that Ash is okay. They've been busy this weekend in warm conditions at Mount Panorama, and they've done a superb job for us all season long. The volunteers who make our sport, they are the lifeblood of our sport, make it go around. We absolutely could not do this game without them.
Well, this helps Chaz Mostert, doesn't it? The safety car period.
Yes.
Oh, no, I know he's giving up. He's going to get the track position, but he's going to give up the pit stop advantage. Oh, sorry, the disadvantage.
Yeah, yes, correct. It's Mount Panorama giveth and Mount Panorama taketh away, Cameron, as you know. Yeah, so he would have liked as much green flag running as he can for track position, basically, to get them up with the pro cars past the AMs, because they will give away some time in that pit stop, because their pit stop will be 15 seconds longer than those around them. 10 seconds, sorry, for finishing runner-up yesterday.
You talked about Paul Morris earlier in the coverage today. He had been at Kenny Habul's place on Conrod Straight, but I think he's back in Queensland now. When I caught some of his socials this morning after the trip back and the tough day that Nash had in the Super Cheap Auto Trans Am, the words were like, "Oh, Mount Panorama, it's been a bit tough to us this weekend." It's like that, isn't it?
Oh, great to see the recovery crew working hard here. One of the incredible volunteer official groups that are out there, and they've been pretty busy this weekend. Recovery, Richard Crale.
Pretty busy every weekend we come to this place, to be fair. She bites pretty hard, especially in a GT3 car across the top of Mount Panorama. So from a pit stop point of view, if you've been following our coverage, you'll know that there's some penalty times for GT cars, and some cars will have a longer pit stop than others, and those in a really good position today are the Jackson Evans Elliott Chute car, who have no pit stop time penalty, Jaden Ojeda and Paula Chitty, who have no pit stop team penalty. The other one I'm really interested in seeing as well is Alex Peroni and Mark Rosser. And Mark has been setting personal bests in every session so far this weekend in the number 81 car, the ACM Finance Audi, run by Team BRM. So they're in potentially a really good position for a little bit of gain later in the race once those mandatory pit stops have been completed.
So Ford Ranger Wild Track V6 recovery vehicle, and the team on site there to recover Ash's car. Hopefully we'll go racing again shortly. With the recovery continuing here for the Audi of Ash Samadhi at the top of the mountain, we are understandably behind the Hyundai safety car in the final one for the year, Fanatec GT World Challenge Australia. Race 2 of the weekend here at the mountain. Brendan Leach, who you can see weaving in that black and silver Dale ITM Audi, leads the way. He leads the Pro-Am class, and we quickly update the other scoreboards for you if you like. Garth Walden on top of things as far as the AM class is concerned. They're 9th outright at the moment, and Astudi leads the trophy class in 13th. To the lane we go.
Thanks, Rusty. I'm down at Audi Sport Customer Racing, Melbourne Performance Centre. Lee Stimation, who is one of the engineers down here. Mate, can you give us a bit of an update as to what's going on with Ash?
All I know, he made a bit of contact with Mark Sini at the entry to Griffins and lost it there. And then next thing we saw him just lose the rear at exit of the Great. So we're just wondering he might have had some fluid loss or something that's contributed, but we're not real sure yet. But he seems okay. He got out okay.
That's always the main thing. In terms of performance for the Audis here this weekend, how do you view that?
They've been pretty quick all weekend. Yeah, so there's had some really good times from pros to the AMs. Like the pace has been really up there, so promising.
Good on you, Lee. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
And that's actually a really good caveat's not the right word, but a little something for us to think about here. The incident on the run up the mountain, and was there a knock-on effect that's contributed to what's happened to Ash there?
Yeah, it sort of makes sense, and the kind of accident that Ash had it makes sense that with that contact between Mark Sini and the left rear corner of Ash's car at turn 2 would have led to a left rear issue turning into the left-hand corner at the top of the hill. Would have unloaded the car, spun that way, putting 1 and 1 together and getting 57th. But, I mean, it makes sense.
The best part about motorsport is you all have a theory until the car comes back. And then drivers normally have to look at the data, which they then fight engineers about. But at the end of the day, the car is just about up on the lift toe. And it'll be back, and we'll be back racing very shortly. So 41 minutes remaining plus 1 lap. Leach, Evans, Ojeda out on track. Rusty, you were very good to take us through the AM class. Sergio Perez, who's second in the AM class at the moment, 10th outright on track, is doing a good job as well, and he'll be one to watch out for the back end of this race. In the meantime, while we stay under safety car, let's take another very quick break on 7 Sport.
You couldn't see a moment ago was my 2 colleagues here in commentary doing all the necessary driving actions to work their way through the incident and what might have unfolded there. That was very good viewing for me.
Good thing there's no cameras in the box.
Quite well acted, the pair of you.
The part-time racing car driver among us agreed with the hack commentator, which was a nice thing, so I like that.
Just to put some meat on the bones of what Rusty was saying, we were trying to work out where contact was on car, what could have been under the car at that point.
Makes sense.
It does make a lot of sense to fluid onto the tyre, because there was nothing else that really suggested why that rear should let go.
So it'll be at least 1 more lap behind the control of the Hyundai safety car. So we'll get a little pause, and then these guys are going to have to go flat out to race their way to the pit stop window of this race.
I'm going to return the Hyundai safety car tomorrow.
I think you might.
Hope there's enough fuel in
I was about to say, go and refuel. I saw some of the guys from Race Fuels down there as well. See if you can load up before you get on the way.
Mark Tierney and Sean Scott from Race Fuels will do a nice deal on some L102, I'm sure.
They will.
He'll get back to Sydney very quickly.
It was, funnily enough, Sean Scott that I saw hanging around Garth Walden Racing.
Can't wait for this to resume here, and the pit window will be open before you know it too. So it to play out here. I love the story of Fontana being in 5th place. That's tremendous to think that we've got some international visitors. We're hearing from Motorsport Australia Race Control that the safety car will be in this lap, and we should therefore be able to go racing again. Centre of your screen was Adam DeBore there, very experienced, very successful engineer. To his left, Liam Talbot, who doesn't have the helmet on just yet, but he'll take over from Chaz Mostert and do the back end of this race. Here we go, budding photographer. You boys are pretty handy photographers, aren't you? Richard Crowell.
Would you say budding, or would you say experienced photographer?
Should be wearing a Motorsport Australia vest standing in that photo location. To be fair, probably lives there, so that's fine.
Is it loud?
Yeah. Is it loud? Actually, got to give a quick shout out to our mates up at the residences up here at the Cutting. It's called the Cutting, Mount Panorama. Really nice accommodation little provider up there on driver's left. And every year they build a scaffold in their driveway to watch all the motor racing, which I think is just outstanding.
While we're giving shout-outs, what about the crew from Shakedown that love to cover off on their Facebook group all about the GT world? They cover all the racing. Do you know who are part of Shakedown, though? There is actually genuinely a group called the Richard Craill Fan Club. They've got merchandise, they've got flags, they put them up around the track.
Let's just get one thing right. It's the Crailsy Fan Club.
Crailsy Fan Club, sorry.
And all proceeds go to a nominated charity, which is extremely important. And that's the only way that it ever happened. Let's just clear that up one way or another.
I'll get you some merch, Rusty, don't worry.
Shane Fowler, who won the Maguire's Best Presented for the weekend, get an angry phone call from me later on. No, the Shakedown is, there they are. That is Camp Shakedown at Robbo's place.
How good.
No, seriously, you've got to get...
Why can't we broadcast from here?
We've got to get you to become a member of the Shakedown crew. I'm one of the members.
Driver's left at the Chase. It's an iconic part of the world. Robbo has lived there for years and years, and I think he sold it a couple of years ago, but with the caveat that can still be used at racing events ongoing, which is really cool.
Little arm twisting, couple of lemonades, won't take much. That'd be great.
But that's where we're working from any event here next year for sure. So we wait for the safety car to peel in. The pit window for AMS will open in 5 minutes from now. are about to go out on the Hyundai safety car, and the field will stack up and we'll go back to racing at this most iconic of venues. The field will stack up in the chase, and Brendan Leach, man from Invercargill in the South Island of New Zealand, who has been utterly spectacular this year alongside Tim Miles. They're race winners in this championship. They won race 2 at Phillip Island in the most dramatic style earlier on in the season. And they're looking to win another one, and at the same time fight their way to 3rd place in the championship. The Ferrari behind is looking to hold on to P3 and maybe even challenge for 2nd for an Arise Racing 1-2. And then we watch for Chaz Mostert, queued up, stacked in, where is he, 11th position on the road at the moment. He's got about 8 minutes to carve his way through as many cars as possible before the mandatory pit stop window opens for the Pro-Am cars. We are back in racing on the mountain.
Chaz had a look, couldn't quite get it done. You could see him there in the Ferrari. Leach has done a great job there on the restart and maybe pulled a car length on Jackson Evans, who's under pressure from Ojeda. Look at this here as we run up the mountain. Ferrari versus Audi, and then tucked in behind the Mercedes of Sheargold. At the moment, that's Garth Walden at the wheel of that car.
Ojeda was having a red-hot look up the inside of Jackson Evans. Not going to get it done through this part of the track, though. That's allowing Brendan Leach to skip away slightly. Well, I swear I thought Ben Schutz was trying to put a move on Chaz Mostert in the background as well.
Put that one on your CV, wouldn't you? So nice restart, Brendan Leach. The ability of these pro drivers to get these cars switched on a cold Pirelli tyre after a safety car intervention. Wow, Evans was really wide at the top, and it stacked everybody up behind him. The Ferrari had a big bunch of understeer as it got to McPhillamy Park. He was half a car width off the line and was very fortunate to kick the thing out of the wall.
Look at the gap, out to 1.5 seconds now as a result of that slight moment for the Ferrari.
Anywhere else in the world, Cam, you would have lost 3 spots in that, but it's so difficult to pass in these cars at the top of the mountain. But fortunate to not have a bigger incident with that. That was huge.
What do we put that down to? A safety car restart. It's still a warm day here at the mountain. Is the tyre pressure maybe not up to the optimum level? Wow. Either way, it would have got the heart rate up.
It was a pretty long safety car period, so the tyre temps and pressures would have come right down. But he holds on and regains his momentum now and sets sail after Brendan Leach up the road. Behind him, Jaden Ojeda's finding Alex Peroni looking very racy. And Fontana isn't getting out of it either as Chaz Mostert puts another move on.
That's on Declan Fraser, the 888 car he shares with Peter Hackett. So that gets Mostert to 8th position. These two raced each other in supercars before. And very familiar with each other's racing. And now Will Brown, ironically, is the next target on Chaz Mostert's list. So the race has just gone away from the 87 Audi a little bit, and they've got the longest pit stop time of anybody in the field as well. So it becomes even more challenging for Brad Schumacher when he gets in that car. Brendan Leach, 1.4 seconds down to the good of Jackson Evans, with Ojeda going with the Ferrari.
Crazy to think we've only chalked up 6 laps so far in this race, where what have we got, 33 minutes remaining. So look at the advantage that Leach has already, and he's leaning on that car as he works his way up the mountain. 1.4 seconds over Evans. It looks bigger than that, the margin, doesn't it?
And every second that Brendan can eke out now will mitigate the extra 5 seconds they're going to have to serve in their mandatory pit stop time for Tim Miles when he gets back behind the wheel. It sort of levels him out with the Jackson Evans, Elliott Chute Ferrari, and Jaden Ojeda and Paul Chitty in that Tigani Autosport Realtor number 66 car that's running in 3rd place.
He must be streaming 7+ at the moment as well, because he's gone purple. Brendan Leach up over, well, through the first sector.
I get the feeling he doesn't need to be told to go fast, Brendan Leach. It just happens organically.
I just think back to, and I've stuck with me that GT festival at Phillip Island when they had the tyre dramas and they were trying to tell him to slow down,
quickest
but the radio wasn't working.
Yeah, to your point, quickest across the top. Unbelievable.
So he's gone purple through the first 2 sectors, has Brendan Leach. And whilst we watch the 2nd place Jackson Evans on screen, let's go down and check in with Chris Stubbs.
Cam, thank you. Lucky enough to be joined by a man who has done incredible things overseas in GT cars. A Daytona 24-hour winner a few years back, Scott Andrews, who we don't get to see here in Australia all that often. Scott, what brings you here to Bathurst? Great to see you.
Yeah, thanks. That's a nice intro. Yeah, honestly, just back to see the folks. I haven't seen my family. I don't get to see them much. So, yeah, just really good to be back. And obviously, while I'm here, I decided that I'd check out the local racing scene and sort of see how life's going. I don't get to see much. Catch up with some old friends. And Matt Harvey, who's engineering the Ojeda car, is my engineer at IMSA. So, yeah. Good to see familiar faces.
The action is getting pretty hot out on the track there at the moment. There's always wheeling and dealing to be done. It's not just a coincidence that you happen to be here. Surely tell me, please, that there's a 12-hour deal or we're going to get to see you racing here.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good chance. Yeah, I mean, obviously nothing's confirmed yet, so yeah, I can't say anything, but yeah, definitely. I'd love to do the race. I did it once 10 years ago almost. But yeah, unfortunately, yeah, it didn't go so well, but it'd be great to come back and do the race. Yeah, you know, I love racing. I love Australian racing. I love Australian motorsport. Yeah, that's definitely the long-term goal to come back full-time here. But yeah, for now, obviously racing overseas, very fortunate. And probably want to take a good opportunity to promote GT racing worldwide, especially, you know, here in Australia. I think a lot of people think that supercars is just it, you know, it's what you need to be, but yeah, I think a lot of young Aussies can look into not only just GT3 but GT4 as well. You know, been fortunate to make a living out of racing GT3 and GT4 worldwide, so I think it's a great opportunity for young Australians and, you know, semi-professionals to, you know, look into GT3 racing and the Pro-Am business model.
Very well said. I tell you what, Krasel, you'll love this. So Scott's from Torquay, down there in Victoria on the surf coast. His dad, Paul, services my cars. When we stand at the counter, and can you tell that Paul and I, his dad, might chat for hours and hours every time I'm in there, but he's a very good man and he looks after my cars. So hopefully now I'll get a bit of a discount, Scott. I'll see you in Torquay soon.
Yeah, thanks very much.
To the racing.
Nice work, Stubbsy, with Scott Andrews, an international Aussie doing great things on the world stage. That's a cool story. 6 Degrees of Motorsport at its finest.
And a hard-fought story, his career. Now, this, while Chris was talking there, this is what unfolded, right? So Brown has a look at Brenton Grove. Things get a bit interesting there as they come through Murray's and senses an opportunity. Does Chaz Mostert, thank you very much.
And they were 3 wide along the pit straight. Mostert took a great advantage of that and grabbed a couple of free spots, so he's up to 6th place. And then they were a little wide on the exit of turn 1. That was wild racing. And then, Cam, you jumped about a foot back from the screen at the top of the hill because the Ferrari of Jackson Evans then got very close to the fence as well.
I couldn't believe it. The car is just not handling well at all. In the meantime, though, Brendan Leach continues to set purple sector after purple sector. 3.8 seconds. 5 seconds is the pit stop delta that he needs to make up on the rest of the field. He has almost done exactly that, Krause. That's the number I was looking at 4.4 seconds. He's nearly net zero-sum game.
Just a reminder, first time to Mount Panorama too. So I love that story. He's got these eyes when you get chatting to him. He's very funny before the start of this race, incidentally. He posted on Instagram that Arise Racing were something like getting out of racing, selling their Ferraris. And everyone's like, what? No, he was just being cheeky, right? So, but he's got these deep set eyes. He's one of those really focused motor racers, is Brendan Leach. And great to see him doing things here in Australia, but continuing to do what he's been up to in recent years internationally as well. Good yarn.
He's off again next week, I think, from memory, as Alex Peroni has a look around the outside of Jaden Ojeda and gets it wrong. Too deep, easy to do, runs it wide, and he's going to get passed by Alex Fontana as well. So the Porsche 911 GT3R from Car Collection Motorsport goes by. Peroni's trying to clear the dirt and debris off his tyres, and that will open the opportunity for Chaz Mostert in the Ferrari to carve his way through. So Mostert up from 18th to 6th. In 9 racing laps. Well, not really racing laps, were there? It's probably 6 racing laps so far.
New fastest lap for Will Brown, 2:04.22. We're nearly into the 2-minute 3s now. So Brown in position 7. Mostert's made his way to 6th. Leach, we'll just see when he gets through the first sector if he's able to. He was 4.4 seconds clear of Jackson Evans last time by. So it's been a great job to amass that buffer, guys, at this point of the race.
That's a frustrating thing for Will Brown, though. He's got a fast race car, but he lost all that track position on the opening lap, and it really, really hurts their race.
In the meantime, all AM class drivers have done their pit stop, their compulsory pit stop, so they're all completed, with Garth Walden and Ben Schutz just finishing in the pit lane and handing over to their co-drivers.
So the Pro-Am pit window is now open as well, and opens at 30 minutes into the race, which we're now 30 minutes, 37, 38, 39 now. So they've got 5 minutes to come in. So if it's not this lap, it'll be the next one. But I wonder, if you're Jaden Ojeda and Jackson Evans doesn't come this lap, I wonder if you do. Because even though it might be only one lap, a little bit of undercut may well help you. And those two cars don't carry any additional pit stop time. So it's in laps, out laps, and attacking the pit lane entry and the speed limit line as well. Will Brown.
Yeah, I was about to say Will Brown, but I was also going to mention Jackson Evans has found some pace with a personal best lap last time around. Only 3.4 seconds a gap now. So maybe the car just wasn't in the right window for him, and he's starting to find some more speed.
Yeah, but Brendan lost 1.3 seconds across the top of the hill with lap traffic. So that really hurt the Kiwi. I wonder, does he come this lap or does he go again? I think he's going to go one more lap if he can, to try and extend his seat time in the car. And in comes Chaz Mostert, so don't mind that. Get them out of the traffic, get Liam Talbot in the car and comfortable, so he's going to be up to speed properly when all of these cars come in the lane.
You also don't want to risk it. Run a conservative strategy. You don't want to run it close
Correct.
to the end of the compulsory pit stop window, so smart call from the championship contenders.
And now the lap traffic ball rolls the way of Jackson Evans. He's going to negotiate Mark Senior in the Hallmark Property Group Audi as he gets up to turn 2. So a 6.5, sorry, last time around for Leach, and a 5.7 for Jackson Evans. But look, he's got Mark Senior now at a really unfortunate time of the racetrack. And Mark does the right thing and almost gets out of the way. Ojeda has to jig and jag to find his way past. Fontana's doing an awesome job in the car collection Porsche as well.
Is that a Richard Craill dance move, jig and jag?
I don't dance, Rusty.
We'll see a little later this evening.
No,
having the SRO team having their presentation night tonight. The Dancer of the Year award goes to. Let's focus back on this. 4.7 seconds. Leach has over Jackson Evans now. Pit stop's happening bottom right of your screen. Waiting for Mostert to rejoin. Been there for 1:11 so far. And of course that car will be with Liam Talbot at the wheel, having had that driver change. Away we go.
We also saw on screen before Renee Gracie came in and handed over to Paul Stokel. So she took the very first opportunity to hand that car over. So they're a long way back at the moment. They were running last of the Pro-Am contenders. But it'll be interesting to see what Paul Stokel can do at the wheel at the OnlyFans outing.
Peroni attacking here to right on the tail of Alex Fontana as they go into the chase. Not quite close enough there in the Audi. Great. Here comes Leach. So race leader to the lane now. The 5.1.
Yeah. So the lap traffic, it giveth, it taketh away. So it's worked for Leach in the second half of that little stint there. Absolutely nails the pit lane speed limiter. And everyone else in, Evans, Ojeda, Fontana, Peroni, Brown, and I'm sure Declan Fraser as well, because the window will close about midway through this next lap.
How aggressive was Jackson Evans on entry? He hit the apex, took up some dirt as well as he was making his way back in, just trying to get that time right down. It ended up at 5.076 seconds as they came into the pit lane.
So in theory, these two cars should leave at exactly the same time if both teams are on it. And Arise Racing and NPC will be. Have a look at this. All 8 leading cars, all in the lane at exactly the same time, and they're all stacked together.
Stubbsy and James Baldwin better jump for the fences.
What's happened? Oh, there's an issue with the door. They do just clip on those cars, so I wonder if they just yanked the door off, actually, to make ingress and egress a little bit better for Jackson Evans and Elliott Shute. This is a proper race off pit road now, and then it will be down to the AM drivers to do the job. Here goes Paul Lichini, and he's followed out by Mark Rosser. Tim Miles is going to beat them out. That is key. Brendan Leach has done an enormous job for the Dale ITM Audi, and he is going to lead this race.
Just.
Where is Liam Talbot? Watch for the Arise Racing Ferrari. Have they made any ground by pitting first? He hasn't crossed the line yet. He's crossing it now. So it hasn't really paid off. They haven't got an enormous amount of track position, but he will get some ground on this lap because he's up to speed. He's comfortable in the car now.
That's him in back a shot right now, coming through Hell Corner, while your race leader heads up to Griffin's Bend. So it's the length of Mountain Straight is the gap between Tim Miles and Liam Talbot. The gap between first and eighth on the racetrack.
Stokely just heading up Mountain Straight now too, behind Brad Schumacher, so they're a little bit further back. So Tim Miles leads the field from Elliott Chute. We'll let this all shake out here. Easy little time there in pit lane a moment ago, and I love the fact that the mandated pit stop time allows for... You don't have to go crazy with the haste with the driver change, do you? It unfolds a little smoother than what you might like, or what you might ordinarily expect, I should say. So, a lot to unfold in the final 20 minutes of the season. Fanatec GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS, live here on 7.
1 second exactly is the margin. Tim Miles to Elliott Chute. Meanwhile, Liam Talbot trying to work his way past Stephen Grove for 8th and 7th position respectively. Hash Patel, he just goes by Hash, is behind the wheel of the Car Collection Motorsport Porsche, is the next car on the road. Here's the leading gaggle of cars. So Miles, Audi R8 LMS Ultra V10 mid-mounted engine. The V6 twin-turbo Ferrari is next, being driven by Elliott Chute, young bloke from the West who's come out of Radical Cup Australia competition. And then the big front-engine 6.2-litre V8, normally aspirated Mercedes AMG, with Paul Lucitti behind the wheel, and then Mark Rosser next in 4th place, and looking racy at the moment in that TBRM Audi R8. And don't forget, in behind,
Peter Hackett.
Yeah, former Australian GT champion, Gold Star winner.
Flashing the lights there, that's good for Triple Eight. I think he was saying yesterday, wasn't he, about how disappointed he felt. Now, we've got a 5-second penalty here, unsafe release for Elliott Chute.
I was actually going to call that because he got released into cars that were coming. He stayed on it, and it was a long shot, and we're looking through the fence. But I was adamant he would have been running into traffic that had to probably abort it. So I'd say that's exactly what's happened down there at pit exit.
That kills their race. He needs to find a way past Miles and try and disappear up the road. But right now, Tim Miles has got more than enough car speed to deal with the Ferrari. And has edged that margin out. It's 2 seconds now. Mark Ross has passed Paul Lucitti as well for 3rd and 4th. So all of a sudden, Rosser finds himself in net 2nd place. 18 minutes to go. A lot to play out in this one.
It's been a good year of GT racing, hasn't it? It's pretty much started here for you this year with 12 Hour. Here we are again at Bathurst.
It was a great race too to start the year. 5 seconds being applied, it will be added to the race time of car number 8. So they're still in this. They still need to go as fast as they absolutely can.
And the gap next at the moment with the 5 seconds would be 2.5, 1, 2. Puts 5th at the moment on track.
Yep.
5th.
Could be more than more these two Mercedes battle. Hollywood trying to find his way past Paul Lucitti for 4th and 5th place. Still the chief driving instructor at Mercedes AMG Australia is Peter Hackett. He's got a cadre of drivers working with him at every driver training event they do.
They do such a professional job. Here we go. Oh, that's on Lucitti and makes the move, and that is for 4th place. So Peter Hackett through.
Breaking news from race control. Car 7 under investigation for their mandatory pit stop time.
And that was the other bit. I wondered whether Elliott had stayed a little bit too long in the pit lane. But there's something in that.
They left it exactly the same time, and Tim Miles had exactly 5 seconds up his sleeve when they pitted. So, yeah, I don't know. If they've breached it, it is by fractions. Wow. the two leading cars could be racing with penalties here in a minute. If you're Mark Rosser, you're in a pretty happy space right now, aren't you? Sitting in third place.
Yeah, you could say ditto there for Peter Hackett too. It seems to be a better day, a better Sunday for the Mercedes AMG entries here at the Mountain. Our coverage continues of the Supercheap Auto Bathurst International, the grand finale of the Shannon Speed Series. And what a joy, what a highlight to have Fanatec GT World Challenge Australia as a part of the offering here at the Mountain. Some really cool GT machines. And for our viewers on 7.2, while we're away in the commercial break, some news coming through that Car 7, in the hands of Tim Miles at the moment, is under investigation from Motorsport Australia Race Control for a potential, let's call it alleged, CPS or compulsory pit stop time issue. So they're looking into that. No penalty's been applied, unlike Elliott Chute behind him, who has an extra 5 seconds that will be applied or added to the end of race time. So Chute needs to clear Miles here and try and disappear up the road, but Tim could be fighting his own penalty as well here, depending upon what they do in race control.
Elliott Chute carrying 5 seconds for an unsafe release from pit lane. Peter Hackett has cruised up to the back of Mark Rosser. So Peter Hackett and Declan Fraser looking in really good shape in this at the moment too. The Mercedes traditionally very good over a race distance.
A little ragged there out of turn 1, didn't it? So they're hustling, they're pushing Peter Hackett. Let's go to the lane in the meantime. James.
Thanks, Rusty. Down here with Chaz Mostert, who did a monster drive, mate, from the back of the grid up 11 places. He did very well. Are you happy with the drive?
Yeah, I just tried to stay out of trouble, but car felt really good. It's really funny on Sunday you jump in these cars and you're on a worn tyre after your teammate has done half the race, so it was nice to be able to start the race and have a good tyre under it. Car felt pretty good. The guys made some pretty good changes overnight, so yeah, pretty excited to see Liam what he can do now. He's got some pretty mega pace out there, so hopefully we can finish off the year strong.
And these Ferraris this weekend have been absolutely honoured, haven't they?
Yeah, they were awesome in qualifying. We probably weren't as good as in race 1, but what we learned yesterday, today, we make some changes, the car feels better. So yeah, that's probably what I'm most proud about the weekend. We make some changes with the car, it reacts really good to them, and yeah, we'll see what we can do.
Mate, thank you very much.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
14 minutes remaining in this race, scheduled to finish at 7 minutes to the top of the hour here, so just before 4 o'clock Eastern. So no update as far as the Miles car is concerned. There was, as we say, a question mark over there. I tell you who will be watching this and with all sorts of nerves on the other side of the ditch, and that is Deb Day from Dale ITN, who's got the top job there at Motorsport New Zealand now. She's been away at the Rally Whangarei, where Hayden Patton has taken things out, won the Asia Pacific Championship, I think, and won that rally as well. So here we go.
It's for position. Yeah, that's Liam Talbert getting up the inside of Paul Luchetti. So that's 5th position now for Liam, and a few more valuable championship points going his way. They're in the position to win the championship where they are right now.
Let's have a little look here. So already you can see that Talbot has, as Chaz said in that interview, continued to make good ground here, and he's already cleared Luchetti and setting sail, chasing down Peter Hackett at the moment. Back we go to our leaders. So Miles has nearly a second over Elliott Chute at present.
This has been a great drive by Tim Miles. They are under investigation, but at the same time, they're just got to drive their own race.
Drive-through penalty.
Oh,
Drive-through penalty for Car 7 for breach of pit stop procedure. Car 7, Tim Miles, your race leader, has just been given a drive-through penalty.
Stubbsy.
Oh, that is just devastating news. We're just standing here talking about this situation. Brendan, your initial reaction?
Oh, yeah, you know, it is what it is. We were under the time and we broke the rules, but yeah, what a shame. The car was amazing. Tim's doing a good job out there. He's still obviously in the lead right now, so yeah, real shame to have a penalty, but rules are the rules, so press on.
You're also close to the action with the unsafe release for Shoot. What was your take on that? It looked pretty obvious to me that he was coming straight into traffic.
Yeah, it was pretty spicy. I think he just kind of closed his ears and went for it, but as you do, I've done it before myself, so I can't say too much, but yeah, it's one of those things. It's tight pit lane, and rules are the rules again.
Mate, that is a really tough ending to what's been a great campaign. How much have you loved being part of Fanatec GT World Challenge Australia? Because we've loved seeing you and your ability up close.
It's been amazing. I've really enjoyed it. The team, NPC, have always prepared a great car for us. Can't thank my sponsors enough, Daylight TM, Miles Advisory, Tim for driving with me. It's been an awesome championship. Lots of fun, lots of laughs, and lots of dive bombs.
Mate, well said, and good to see you finishing with a bit of a smile on your face despite this result. Thanks.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
As the interview wraps up, Tim Miles fires into pit lane, and I'll kind of echo the sentiments. I've loved the dive bombs too. They've been great to watch, haven't they?
He's been Mr. Spectacular this season. It's been such a privilege to watch him drive. Among all the great driving stories this year, there is the daily ITM Audi rolling through pit lane, and they're going to come out somewhere around... Hash Patel probably in 10th place, I think, at this point. So it's a recovery drive for Milesy now. We go back to the battle for the lead. So 5-second time penalty hanging over the head of Elliott Shute in the Ferrari. And by the way, it swings the fight for third in the Drivers' Championship back the way of car number 8. But they've got this 5-second penalty hanging over their head. But Miles needed to beat, or Miles and Leach needed to beat Evans and Shute today to get third in the championship. And unless something goes wrong with that Ferrari, that is going to be hard work to do now. They're on course to do it with the way this is playing out. So, effectively, the battle for the race lead right now is Peter Hackett versus Mark Rosser. And Rosser in that ACM Finance Team BRM Audi has done a superb job, anchored at the start by Alex Peroni, who's come back to Australia out of International Open Wheel Racing. And they are in a position to win a race in Fanatec GT World Challenge Australia. They won race 1 at Queensland Raceway this year. They'd love to add a second victory. Little team from South Australia, open wheel champions in the Gold Star and in Australian Formula 3 racing and F4. And shifted to GT and have put together a really good program this year with some really smart people behind the scenes.
Good battle, this next group, isn't it? Stephen Grove ahead of Paul Stokel, Brad Schumacher. So Stephen is kind of keeping it shallow, making life as hard as he possibly can for Paul Stokel, and Brad Schumacher right there. And just to sort of highlight what Tim was saying, puts a couple of wheels off the white line, kicks up a bit of dust. Stokel's going to get through here. They'll go side by side as they come into the chase. OnlyFans out, he gets it done. Stokel through, that's up to 6th place now.
And opens the door for Schumacher to go as well. Grove gives him racing room and Brad gets the spot.
I don't think he was maybe looking in his mirrors there or something. The outside wheels ending up just briefly, fractionally in the grass there for the Grove entry, and has now lost 2 spots, back down to 8th.
Just cost him a little bit of momentum. Honestly, the Max traditionally very strong, firing out of slow speed corners. They've got a lot of bottom end torque. As we go back and pick up Sergio Perez, who's leading the AM class 10th outright at the moment. His good mate and regular co-driver Marcel Zalua not here this weekend, so Sergio driving solo. I'm sure Marcel watching on from wherever he is in the world. G'day, mate. You've had a really good season, these guys. They missed the Queensland Raceway round, so they weren't really in championship calculations, but they've had a lot of race wins, 4 of them to this point in the AM class.
Stephen Coe on screen at the moment in the Ferrari 458 GT3 leading the trophy class. Now, Stephen pitted quite early in the window, and it was in favour of, I think, the Aston Martin in the early part of the race, wasn't it? So it's a swing the other way in the trophy class for Stephen Coe there at the moment, leading things. So nice work.
Yeah, the Aston's miles down in terms of laps, so it's had some dramas earlier in this one. Liam Dunn won the trophy class yesterday with Valentino Astudi. As we go back to this now, joining into this fight is Liam Talbert, who has cruised up to the back of what is the fight for the race lead between Mark Rosser and Peter Hackett.
7 minutes. 7 minutes to go in this one. Talbot enters the fray. Look how deep he goes under brakes. Closes maybe another car length on Peter Hackett here. So as Krause said before, it's for the effective lead. Rosser is your effective leader. Once you apply that penalty for Elliott Chute in the Ferrari, bottom left of your corner, this next three are fighting for the race win. Rosser effectively has it in the Audi. Hackett fighting incredibly well here for the 888 Mercedes-AMG team, and then in behind him, Liam Talbot, right in the game, aiming to go back-to-back. Super cool story.
Liam's got massive pace aboard, car number 1 at the moment. The Arise Racing Ferrari 207.1 last time by was a second quicker than Peter Hackett and Mark Rosser in front. Paul Stokel, meanwhile, 205.7 last time by, quickest lap of the race for that car. So he is blazing away back in the OnlyFans Audi. He's in 6th, but he's catching Paul Licini and will definitely get to the back of the AMG, the Realtor car. So Talbot's cruised up to the back of Hackett. It's a cliche, I know, but in these cars at this place, catching, yes. Passing, much harder. So let's see what Liam can do. Bearing in mind that he just needs to finish where he is and he will win the championship. So risk minimisation has to be part of this race for Liam Talbot. James?
Thank you, Krause. I know we were speaking a little earlier and Rusty was all over it. Alex Fontana, I'm here with him. Your first time to the mountain. You are absolutely flying. How's it being at Bathurst?
Yeah, it was a fantastic experience. To be honest, I was minding my own business because I know there is a title fight going on. Our car needs to be going to Malaysia for the Asia Le Mans series, so we have to keep it in one piece. Ash is learning racing really because it's first season in GT3, but first season in general, so we wanted to show up, learn, enjoy the experience and have fun, which I think we had.
You come from a part of the world where there are many magnificent racetracks. Where does Bathurst now rank on that for you?
Yeah, I would say it's for sure in the top 3. I mean, I've driven the Nürburgring Nordschleife at Spa many times in single-seater and GTs, but Bathurst is for sure in the top 3. It's a special feeling, special crowd, a section of corners that demand really high-speed cornering, which I didn't expect. I knew it was kind of a city track, but the top part of the mountain is really fast, like Spa at times, but here you have walls, so you really want to stay away from those.
Mate, it's great to have you here. Well done on a very, very good stint.
Thank you very much for having us, and hopefully in the future you will see us again.
Yeah, we hope so too. Just underscoring how special the mountain is relative to other circuits around the world. And one event he didn't necessarily rattle off there was at the Pirelli Indianapolis 8-hour just last month. So there at the moment, his teammate Hash Patel currently 11th outright in that Porsche.
Mark Rosser continues to lead. There's 4 minutes remaining. He has come on an enormously long way as a race car driver. Started late. He was telling me earlier in the weekend his racing debut came in a saloon car. He bought an old EA Falcon and built a saloon car around it to go racing. He had dreamed to run on the Adelaide Street Circuit, and he did that in a saloon car. He was running at the back of the field, and then decided that motor racing was a reasonably expensive game and needed to go and earn some money so he could do it properly, which he did. And he's still a relatively young guy, Mark, and he's in a position now where he could potentially win this race with Alex Peroni. Imagine winning at Bathurst. I think his stint in S5000 in the open wheelers, he was one of the only real Pro-Am drivers in that battle. I think that really helped develop him as a driver, and it really got him fired up in the GT car and evolved as an AM driver. A bit of luck traffic there with the Aston Martin. We're done getting out of the way. It's just stacked them all up a little bit. So Hackett still right in the mix here in the 888 AMG, and Talbot looming. Rosser weaving left and right, covering his line, but the Merc is in the toe of the Audi R8. Is there a move in the offing here at the chase? Does Rosser feel like he needs to defend? The answer is no, because Hackett has got to deal with Liam Talbot. So Talbot could be Mark Rosser's best mate at the moment, because Hackett's got to look forward and he's got to look backwards at the same time.
Seems like yesterday I can recall a young Peter Hackett in a Formula 3 car at Wakefield Park, and here he is channeling a little bit of that young racer energy right now. He is doing a superb job. Eyes on Mark Rosser ahead of him, and at the same time a little glance at where Liam Talbot is in the Ferrari. Great fight. We talk about balance of performance in this class. What have you got here? Audi versus Mercedes versus Ferrari. They're fighting for the win with 2 minutes to go, and have a look at how close they are. Yes, a few things have played out in this race, but good story.
Rosser gets the car to turn 2. Needs to be careful just a little bit to make sure his defence is not overly aggressive and slows them up so much that Elliott Chute can gap them here. The margin 1.5. If Elliott gets more than 5 seconds in front of this battle pack, he will win the race, even with a 5-second time penalty.
Well, I think he got about half a second last time by, didn't he, Elliott Chute? So it's little increments with 1:30 remaining, but he's trying here. So margin is 1.6 as Richard highlights, but he'll need a bigger chunk of time than that. But it's only if these three in the squabbling, if something really goes wrong, isn't it? So that he can maybe build on that. 1.2 now.
How good is GT racing at the moment? What a great show it's been all season long here in Australia and indeed around the world. Rain-affected Spa 24-hour, but all the major endurance races have been pretty epic where GT3 features, and it's a class in the FIA World Endurance Championship now, and an Aussie claimed victory at the Le Mans 24-hour and was runner-up in the World Championship in Yasser Shahin, who was runner-up in this championship last year for Manthey EMA Racing, and won the Le Mans 24-hour in a 911 GT3R, the same car that Hash Patel and Alex Fontana are racing this weekend. You can go and run the Le Mans 24-hour, one of the biggest races in the world, in exactly the same car that you run in Fanatec GT World Australia. That's part of the appeal of global GT racing at the moment.
And McMillan and the team from SRO Australia have announced their calendar for 2025, and they're off to some good places, including New Zealand, aren't they? So good calendar coming up next year.
Oh yeah, finale in Hampton Downs, thank you very much. No problems. That'll be terrific racing over there. And I know there's a lot of New Zealand-based GT3 cars as well that should make a cameo for that one. Big moment for Hackett down at Murray's. The car just understeered. It didn't turn into the corner and he ran wide, and there was an opportunity for Liam, but he is driving a super smart race at the moment. Championship will be theirs if they finish where they are.
What a way to wrap out or wrap up the 2024 championship. If Rosser can hold on here, tremendous performance for he and for Alex Peroni, and hats off to Hackett as well. We're not there yet. Clock has counted out. Won't be long before we're done. And Richard talking about just the battle on his hands at the moment for Peter Hackett. He is driving superbly, keeping Talbot behind him. What's Chute's advantage now? It's down to just on a second. So, you know, kudos to Rosser here for keeping him within sight, minimising that chance for him to establish the more than 5 seconds he needs.
So many storylines to unpick here. The link with Albert Callagher and ACM Finance, who's got behind this Team BRM squad, with Alex Peroni, who's come back out of international open wheel racing to establish himself on the Aussie scene. But then Arise Racing, a brand new team in GT racing. They've come out of One Make Radical competition, and they have put on a show this year in the debut for the brand new Ferrari 296 GT3, a car that we've not seen race in Australia. And Ferrari have not won a national championship in Australia since 2007, with the late and extremely great Alan Simonson, who won that year's Australian GT Championship for Maranello Motorsport. It's been a long time between drinks for the Scuderia and the Prancing Horse in Australian motorsport. They've won a couple of Bathurst 12 hours along the way in 2014 and 17, but not a national title. So they're on the cusp of doing that now. Should be one to go, Rusty.
Yeah, heading for home, we think. We're being told from Motorsport Australia Race Control, this will be the last lap. I know we need to focus on the key storylines here. Quick little shout out to a legend from the Network 7 commentary team back in the day, none other than Alan Moffat. Is 85 years young today. We hope you've had a superb birthday. Rosser keeps it now down to 0.7. Has Hackett got a little something in store somewhere in the Mercedes? Talbot, I think, has dropped back maybe a car length, has he? It's not much in it. Gets a little closer there. Will anyone be brave enough in this trio, given the different stories unfolding, to try something?
Oh, a lap car, and they're going to get to it at McPhillamy Park. At a 230k an hour left-hander that's blind and narrow, and Chute jigs one way, can't find his way past. He hesitated massively, and it almost opened the door for Rosser to squeeze through, but so too Peter Hackett. heart-in-mouth moment at the top of Mount Panorama.
Talbert looking left and right, lights on. Hackett keeps that car nice and centred, maybe a tighter line into Forest Elbow. Final time down Conrod Straight. Who is going to do this? Rosser, Hackett or Talbot? Nothing in it. Chute won't be able to amass the 5 seconds he needs. So it's between the 3 cars. More toward the top of your screen there now.
What a performance. Looking for their second race win of the season for Team BRM out of Adelaide in South Australia. For Alex Peroni, who's come back from open wheel racing, and for Mark Rosser, who's just dreamed of stuff like this. The ACM Finance Audi is going to win this race. Chute has a penalty. He won't win it. The Audi will. Mark Rosser and Alex Peroni win the finale. But the championship goes the way of Liam Talbot and Chaz Mostert. They are the 2024 Fanatec GT World Challenge Australia champions. And Talbot... What a performance. Liam Talbot goes back-to-back in the Fanatec GT World Challenge Australia and becomes the first driver to win titles in consecutive years in 2 different cars. Audi last year, Ferrari this year, and pairs up with Chaz Mostert to deliver a title. And for Chaz, he adds a national GT title to his incredible list of achievements in his glittering career that continues apace. Peter Hackett and Declan Fraser are going to finish second in that race for Triple Eight. That's a really strong result. They had a win at Shell V-Power Motorsport Park at the Bend in round 2 of the championship. They won the opening there, a couple of other podiums, but that caps off a really strong weekend. Well done to Simon Hodge and the team down there at T8. Not sure where their GT program's going in the future, but a solid way to end the season. So well done to everything from the Queensland team. And Liam Talbot and Chaz Mostert finished 3rd in that race. The 5-second penalty will be added to Elliott Chute and Jackson Evans' time, and that's going to put them in 4th. So they round out their season and will be 3rd in the championship as well. Paul Stokel and Renee Gracie finished P5 in that one, which is an outstanding result for them and equals their best result of the season. Great stuff by that. And Brad Schumacher and Will Brown will finish 6th there. It was a strange race for the team that was in contention for the championship, if only by a thread. They lost track position early and then recovered late. Good drive by Brad Schumacher. But it's been a great year by he and Will Brown. They'll finish the year having won the most races of any combination. 6 different teams won the 10 races this championship. It's been so competitive. And then in the AM class, a sweep. A sweep for Sergio Perez. He wins both races, and he is the first driver this year in Pro-Am or Am to win both races in a weekend. It has been a dominant performance for the Valmont Racing Tagani Autosport Audi, and Mike Sheargold brings home the number 45 GWR and Ram Motorsport car. 2nd place in that race in AM class, and the champions with Garth Walden. It's been a big day for GWR Australia. They've won the AM class in GT World Challenge. They won the Radical Cup Australia title as well. Shane Woodman and Ben Schutz finished 3rd in that race, and they're going to be pretty close to being 3rd in the championship. In fact, I think they will be in the AM class as well. So the SRO Gala tonight will celebrate all the champions as this incredible field rolls back into pit lane. Mark Rosser and Alex Peroni, the winners for the 2nd time this season. A huge result for BRM, the ACM Finance team, and for Mark Rosser, who's put his heart and soul into succeeding at this level of racing, and for Alex Peroni, who has had a glittering career already as he establishes himself on the world and now comes back to Australia to do the same after an open wheel career. But let's reflect on Liam Talbert and Chaz Mostert and Arise Racing at their first crack at National GT and Fanatec GT World Challenge become champions for the first time. The mountain looks a picture today, and we celebrate championship and race wins on Super Sunday here at the Super Cheap Auto at Bathurst International. Alex Peroni and Mark Rosser win for Team BRM and ACM Finance. Audi end the year on top in the final race of the championship. Declan Fraser and Peter Hackett, what a great result for Mercedes AMG with our champs Mostert and Talbot next. The AM class winner was Sergio Perez in front of Mike Sheargold and Garth Walden. Two cars unfortunately failing to finish. A wild conclusion to a remarkable year in Fanatec GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS. Christopher Stubbs, that was a cool way to end the season.
Richard Crowley, indeed it was. I'll start with Alex Peroni, a winner here. Pro-Am, you've made your name in open wheelers. You've got a lid on top of you here and you've been victorious at the mountain. What does that mean to you, mate?
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, credit to Mark and the team. You know, they made this happen. You know, we're probably the smallest team on the field, but we're punching above our weight. So that's just a testament to how good quality these guys are. And Mark drove an amazing stint. Like, it was the most stressful I think I've ever been. I was a lot more cool in the car. So credit to Mark, credit to the team, and awesome way to end the year.
Well said, Alex. Mark, to you, to stand here as a winner at Mount Panorama. That last lap was hairy. Awesome job. Well done.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, all the laps were pretty hairy, actually, so it was pretty full on out there. I had Peter behind me following closely and, yeah, trying to catch up to Elliot, but I knew he had 5 seconds there, so I didn't really want to push too hard. But, yeah, to win here, and thanks to the team for the whole season. And, like, Alex, thanks for coming along for the journey. You did a great job, especially yesterday in qualifying. You did an awesome job too, so that got us up there. Thanks, mate.
Mark, well done.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on down to another one of our winners today for the second day in a row. Sergio Perez, if you don't mind, congratulations, class winner again. What a weekend.
Thank you. Today was a lot harder than yesterday. I had to make a few passes, but Tagani gave me the best car all weekend. We had a perfect weekend, so happy to end the season off with the win at Bathurst.
Congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
All right, Stephen Coe, will come down to you. Class winner, Stephen. How good is that? Well done.
After yesterday, I don't know how many people saw it, but it was a mess. So, I'm very happy.
Hey, don't worry about that. People probably didn't see that, but they've seen you be a winner today. That must mean the world to you.
Oh, it does. It really does. Yeah, I'm thrilled.
Stephen, great job.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Just off the edge of the Shannon's victory lane with the Arise Racing team. Liam Talbot, congratulations. How good, crazy final race. You guys charged through there, and to be able to go back-to-back, awesome stuff.
Yeah, thank you. It wasn't that crazy, not from my point of view, but big thanks to the team, Arise Racing GT. Chazzy did a mega job all year, so it was a real privilege to be with Chazzy. Adam DeBore engineering the car, so as a team, we won this championship.
Come in, Chaz. Have a little word with us. Great result for this outfit. Something brand new for this class of racing for 2024. And what a mark you guys have made.
Yeah, first you've got to thank Arise GT, and, you know, what they've been able to do in their first year as a team is something really impressive, and it looks so professional. The cars are amazing, and everyone in the team works extremely hard. So this one's really for those guys, obviously Lawrence as well, and the investment he's put into this team in the background. Same with Arise. I hope they're really proud of this one. It's something pretty special to start a team and be involved in racing, but to win a championship in your first year is something really cool. And obviously this fella beside me here did an amazing job all year. Back-to-back GT champion as well. So, geez, put this guy in anywhere around the world in a GT car, he's going to be super fast. So it's always an honour teaming up with Liam.
To both of you, to Arise Racing, massive congratulations on season 2024, and wish you all the best for 2025.
Thanks, Rusty. You're also so amazing to have back at the track.
Thank you very much, Jazz. Hey, what a season in Fanatec GT World Challenge Australia. Hey, that's a nice way to close it out.
That is a beautiful way to end it. Congratulations to these victors, and also to Josh Buchan, who we saw a little bit earlier, making it back-to-back as well, like Liam in Super Cheap Auto TCR Australia. Awesome day of racing, Rusty.
Now, coverage here at the mountain might be wrapping up on 7.2, but we will continue things on 7+. So if you're enjoying your motorsport, switch
Bathurst is such an incredible place to be here at the Super Cheap Auto Bathurst International. We've just seen an incredible conclusion to Fanatec GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS. A remarkable conclusion to a remarkable